looking for some kindred spirits. Then what happened? Jaws happened! It exploded onto the community. And another group of merry pranksters, you all know who you are, wild and crazy notions that you had, bringing not so popular and well-known musical extravaganzas to these shores. A fabulous spin-off from that was the Jaws radio show, which saw Jeff co-presenting with local lads, very colourful, very gorgeous, very dizzy bundle of cheerfulness that is Joy Duncan. And what a gorgeous rapport they had. And they gifted that to us on the airways. That was too good a line to leave out. Sorry about that. I should have the glasses on for that. He was regularly commissioned to review drama, dance, and musical shows here for various publications. Now, he took this role really, really seriously, watching the show avidly, then delivering accurate, detailed, and appreciatively written articles, always mindful to appraise with value, generosity, and positive reinforcement. In more recent times, he spent a lot of time reading and responding to posts and articles on social media, most fervently when the topics regarded current affairs, news, and politics. He would spend hours, especially if he woke in the middle of the night, writing long, informed, and heartfelt pieces about misinformation, about perpetrators of oppression over the years and now, about tyranny, persecution, and misery, feeling it was his absolute duty to get these issues spoken of from an angle of no agenda. Yeah, right, Jeff. Now, it might surprise some of you to learn that this highly intellectual, eccentric academic had a lifelong and deeply rooted guilty secret. With his much loved favourite Roy. You didn't know it, did you? I knew I was getting all on that one. I knew it. He never ever missed an episode. He would record them all week and binge watch when he went to his bed at night. He was a loud and proud supporter of Burnley FC, which was also the place of his birth. Now, he would come out on any day that they were going to be on the TV, which wasn't often, but he'd come out donned in the strip, resplendent in claret and blue, woolly hat, scarf, all of it, and sitting there ready to cheer on his team. It's obviously usually quite sad, but I always made sure that he had pies. Plenty of pies to keep him going through the day, whatever the outcome. So, and he also loved most other sports on TV as well, in particular Formula One, snooker, and tennis. Now, wherever else in the house or garden I would be able to hear Jeff screaming his encouragement, or more often, more likely, expletives as loud as you like toward the image on the screen, whatever or whomever was provoking or offending his senses. For instance, Lewis Hamilton being overtaken on the bend by his nemesis Verstappen. Oh my God. Or Ronnie O'Sullivan, right? Losing in the first round. To an outsider, an unheard of. Christ almighty, turn it up, turn it up. I never want to watch it again. So, needless to say, the house has become a very quiet, a much less interesting, and less colourful home without him. He was the most prolific of artists, revered, admired, and loved, not just by me, but for so many people far and wide, whose life he may have touched one way or another, wearing one hat or another, even however briefly. They knew they'd been tapped on the shoulder by Jeff. I've been extremely fortunate to have basked in this man's bright, beautiful, creative light for so much of my life. He was taken too suddenly, too unexpectedly, and it was shocking and it was cruel. And we're all but just grateful, thankful that we were around. It goes without saying that my life, but also the life of so many others, will never be the same again. Good night, bright star. Keep shining. I have no idea because Dave is the one with the scheduling. What's that? What's the thing? I think it's
Jill.
It's Jill.
Yeah. So
The problem was I got on the Sunday. The station to pick up the bus at the airport. Jeff beat me to it, got the bus before me. I ran after at the airport. Anyhow, it was fun. And we had a pretty amazing time. But I have Jeff to thank for that whole side of my life. I did once turn up, advised by my husband that there was an Israeli, bless their hearts, coming to the town hall to give a concert, and he got a masterclass on a Sunday afternoon. Well, I'm a jazz person. I didn't actually know much about jazz at all. I thought it was all big band stuff, and I just didn't like it. But the thought of sharing my long ago teenage acquired fluent Hebrew with another Israeli was just too much to miss. So I turned up a little bit early into the town hall. No, there was a little tiny crowd of about 9 or 10 people at the far end, and this swarthy Israeli disciple sitting beside the piano where there was a little tiny boy sitting, flexing his fingers. And here was this keyboard and saxophone class. What was a drummer doing? 10 trumpets. I assumed there'd be lots of little keyboards. And I sat in front. It's the only place to sit. I sat there like absolutely. I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. But
I was listening because this chap never stopped speaking. I listened to him. I listened to him again. The only other time by the idea of 3 hour long petrol on this outside in the rain. I guess that all the seats in the pub were full. We'd all eaten all the meat. Spring and took the top off. Anyway, I sat through the first half, mesmerised and increasingly thinking, I think he's forgotten. He's completely forgotten. Came half tame, no sign of the others. They didn't seem to be wanting to make contact. So I thought, oh. But halfway through the second half, he was pausing between funnies, little jokes and bits of playing, and he just started to turn around to the back of the stage and walked back. And he said, "This afternoon, I think it's coming." So he said, "We have this masterclass. Are you there, Joe?" So it happened, and I sang the most eyes closed, heavenly experience that I had ever, I won't say imagined, because I haven't imagined anything to do with singing in my life, performing singing. No way. Choral society, quietly in the front corner, was my world. And the bath, of course, plenty of singing in the bath. But it was unbelievable. It lit such a fuse inside me. I didn't even know such a thing was conceivable, let alone permitted. And I walked at the end of it off the stage. Well, the other thing was that Frank Harrison was sitting at the piano, and he has continued to be an inspiration ever since. What a lovely musician. But I walked on back to the table and Leslie, where did that come? But the awful thing was, my future, up until that day, had been a slow brewing paralysis, end of teaching, and somehow Andrew clinging along for as long as it was worth clinging. From that moment on, something inside wants to come out.
You have to give me 20 quid on the way out, just like the free bar is not free.
She's only kidding. No, you get. Okay. Working. Hi guys.
Oh.
You're on YouTube. You're actually on YouTube. And we've got 7 viewers. 7 viewers. 7 viewers. 7. An audience.
Collecting your small change, just so that we can raise some money and get this thing on to help with some of the medical things going on. So any loose change, just in the date things at the end. I've had all the dates on the plate. Please help us out to sandwiches and whatever.